Okay, guys, we have one last bit of movie news to cover before we take your live comments and questions, and that is this. You guys, Deadpool 3. It is official. It is official. Disney. Let me clarify. It is official that Disney is moving forward to make a Deadpool 3 under the MCU, under the Kevin Feige family banner, right? What is not official is that the film has been greenlit. The movie has not been greenlit. There's no pre-production starting yet, but as is being reported in all the major trades right now, predominantly here in Deadline, Disney and Marvel Studios is moving forward with a Deadpool 3 film, working with Ryan Reynolds. Specifically Ryan Reynolds, Kevin Feige, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right, the Molyneux sisters. If you're not familiar with the Molyneux sisters, they are Emmy Award-winning writers on the show Bob's Burgers. If you've not seen Bob's Burgers, go watch Bob's Burgers. It's totally worth your time. It's silly, it's fun, it's funny, it's wacky, it's zany, but it's also like it has a little heart to it, and it's fun. It's great. It's a wonderful show. And like I said, not only has the show won multiple Emmys, the Molyneux sisters, as a writing pair, as a team, they have won awards for this show, at multiple Emmys for this show. So news that Marvel, Kevin Feige, Disney, Ryan Reynolds, they're all coming together and they're bringing in the Molyneux sisters to pen a new script for Deadpool 3 in all of its irreverence. Here, let's jump down to the article real quick. Deadline is saying, so they are breaking the story. This is an exclusive. As Disney continues to figure out what to do with Fox properties they acquired in the merger, one of the biggest IPs, Deadpool, looks to be gaining momentum. Sources tell Deadline that Wendy Molyneux and Lizzie Molyneux Loughlin to write Deadpool 3 with Reynolds set to reprise his role as the wisecracking superheroes. Writer meetings have been taking place over the past month, with Reynolds recently meeting with a handful of writers to hear their pitch for the next installment. In the end, the studio and Reynolds saw the sisters take as the perfect fit for what they wanted. The film is still in early development, but the hiring of the Molyneux sisters does mark the first major step in getting the next Deadpool film into production. You guys, this is just the best. Thanksgiving came early, ladies and gentlemen. Thanksgiving has come early. What a Thanksgiving miracle this is. Deadpool Deadpool is one of those properties that, first of all, nobody ever thought would have got made. Nobody in their wildest dreams. Let's rewind like 10 years, shall we? If you remember, 10 years ago would have put us at 2010. Just 6 years later, we get a Deadpool movie. 2016, I believe, was the first Deadpool movie. Who in their wildest thoughts ever stopped to consider that, like, hey, where we are in the world right now, specifically in movies and cinema and storytelling and, comic book superheroes, we never thought that we'd get a proper Deadpool movie. And now we have two. I actually prefer Deadpool 2 over Deadpool 1. I think it's a superior film. I like it better. Whatever. They're fantastic. And now to think, again, we live in a pandemic. Things that were impossible yesterday now suddenly become possible today. Who knows if the pandemic has had any real impact on the creation of Deadpool 3? Who knows? But like I said, this is a Thanksgiving miracle. I am so stoked to see what a Deadpool movie under the MCU banner, an R-rated Deadpool 3, is going to look like. Now, it's probably not going to be under Marvel Studios banner. It will probably probably, but then again, who knows? Like, who knows? Who knows what the Molyneux sisters pitched to Ryan Reynolds and to Kevin Feige and all them? But it seems that this is something that they like. This is a good direction for them. It's probably going to be released under the 20th Century banner, and it may not have any connections directly to the MCU. If it does, great. If they can figure out a way to do it, awesome. If not, okay, I'm fine with Deadpool just kind of staying in that same universe that he was before. It's wonderful. It's a breath of fresh air. Larken, are you a fan of Deadpool, and are you looking forward to this? Does this sound fun to you? Where do you stand?
Yeah, this definitely sounds fun to me. I, based on your recommendation, I'm going to go seek out Deadpool 2, which I have not yet seen. I enjoyed the first one, but I did not, I
Now,
haven't just
just so you know,
gone out
there's
there.
two different versions. There's
Okay.
Deadpool 2 that was released in theaters, like the
Okay.
theatrical cut, I guess. And
Right.
then,
Right.
just to kind of make maybe a little bit more family-friendly version of Deadpool, they did a PG-13 cut of Deadpool
Huh.
2. It's the same exact movie,
Okay.
but there are cut scenes where they, you know, the storytelling device from The Princess Bride, where you have
Okay.
Columbo sitting at the bedside of, Fred Savage. They
Yep.
recreate that. So it's a grown up Fred Savage in his bed on the set of The Princess Bride, and Deadpool is playing the part of, what's his name?
Peter Falk.
Thank you, Peter Falk. He's playing the Peter Falk
That's
character,
amazing.
but they're breaking the fourth wall the whole time. Like, Fred Savage
Okay.
is playing himself, Fred Savage, and he knows he's an actor who's been kidnapped by Deadpool. So it's a storytelling gambit is all it is, and it's really fun and silly, and it's just a way for them to make a really hard R-rated film cut down into a PG-13 format, and it works. It's fun.
That's fun. I mean, so I'm struck. I love how you sort of juxtaposed Black Panther and Deadpool, because I think in some ways it's just this idea that on the one hand we have this the weight of a franchise and expectations and so many voices and people involved and just this whole um it's the whole universe, well, literally universe. Uh, and then compare that to Deadpool, which is just this bizarre, scrappy, like, you know, and it really seems like Ryan Reynolds is having the time of his life, and he has, uh, yeah, I think that if it gets made, it'll be because of him, right? Like he loves this, he enjoys it. I heard was, according to the, the trades, he had been courting the Molyneux sisters and was sort of, really I guess, an advocate
Yeah.
of their involvement. So it really seems like this is one of those places where, as long as people, the business folks, don't get too, nervous about it and just sort of let the kids have their fun, like it seems like it's going to happen.
Now,
So
I
that's
I mean, this is just pure speculation on my part. It probably doesn't even bear mentioning or bringing up, but I know in the comics, Deadpool is a gender fluid character. He's not heterosexual. He's not homosexual. He is what he is. He just goes off and lives life, right? Um, in the films, there has been a huge hesitation not just in the Deadpool movies, not just in comic book movies, but in storytelling in general. We're becoming a little bit more comfortable with the subject of being gender neutral and fluidity in our sexuality. In a Disney run MCU, I mean, who knows if he will be in the MCU? Who knows? It might just be a standalone 20th century production. But, in being in the comics, he doesn't have any particular gender affiliation. Do you think that there's a possibility they may introduce something like that? But I understand you haven't seen Deadpool 2, but I mean, it's
yeah,
wacky. It kind of goes along with the idea of what and who Deadpool is.
right. I mean, and I think if you're gonna we're committed to having a white cishet male guy playing the role, and like I said, he seems to be pretty integral to the whole thing. then yeah, I would love to see them mix it up just with other storylines or you know, ways that that character moves through the world. Um, yeah, it's interesting. Just when you were talking, it kind of reminds me of some of the characters on Big Mouth, like who
Oh
we start to see
yeah.
like this kind of like people who just enjoy, you know, other people,
Yeah.
and it's not quite as you know, rigidly defined. So I would love to think there's space for that in the you know, in the Disney pantheon.
Yeah.
It probably wouldn't be under the Disney label. I'm reminded, I think Julia Roberts 1,000 years ago talked about when she made Pretty Woman. She's like, yeah, technically that's a Disney movie because Disney owned Touchstone,
It's
but
true.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah, but they're gonna, you know, separate themselves from the product. So, you know, they've got enough labels. I'm sure they can find a place for it that wouldn't be too shocking. But I hope they can pull it off.
I do as well. I really hope that they can pull it off. But the big question is for you guys, what do you think is going to happen with Deadpool 3? Are you looking forward to it? Are you over the Deadpool franchise? Do you think they should just pull the plug? What are your thoughts and theories for how they could put Deadpool into the MCU? Because we know Bob Iger and Bob Chapek have both been very explicitly clear in saying, we need to protect the Disney brand. You can't have, you know, a Deadpool character running amok all throughout Disney. I mean, can you imagine Deadpool on Disney Plus? Here you go, kid. Have the remote. Have free reign. What are you watching? You know, I can't imagine Disney being that particular type of open, but if there is a way to introduce Deadpool into the MCU, how do you think that they're going to do it? Do you think they will do it? Do you think they will just keep it in a self-contained 20th Century Fox banner? What are your thoughts? Jump on down to the comment section below and let me know what those are. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you like this video, click like. And if you really like this video, click subscribe. And if you really, really like this video, click share. Because that is exactly what Weird Al Yankovic would want you to do. Dun, 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 dun.